Shawn, how you doing, man?
Hey, good to see you again, brother.
You too, you too. How's DT been treating you?
Oh, it's been a crazy busy time, man.
Yeah,
When it first hit, companies, my clients were scrambled to transform and
yeah.
make sure that they can still operate into some degree. And now we're in September timeframe, we're entering a different stage where companies that had to reduce or had to change in some way, it's no longer a temporary thing, but on a day forward basis, we are now going to operate differently and more
Mm-hmm.
strategically,
Mm-hmm.
where we could be from anywhere. So it's been overall a pretty exciting time. This has been a unique year with a lot of really cool and exciting things. So
Yeah, I agree. I think I mean, I know there's some negatives to what's happening, but I see a lot of positive changes that's been taking place. And that's actually what I want to connect with you
mhm.
is what have you been experiencing doing digital transformation yourself during this time or experienced? I have a couple that I wanted to bounce off you and thought if you see similar trends and if there's any others, feel free to add. But examples that come to mind is are we making digital transformation change not because we have to, but we're also considering the customer experience perspective? One thing that we want to not lose hold of is the value added, right? So sometimes we rush to make these digital transformation changes from the customer's perspective. And I'm going to give an example, like, which is, to get my groceries to me very, very quickly, to allocate, make sure that there's the right inventory so that when I'm selecting online, I get what I'm purchasing. But that is what you want to enhance, and that's what you want to automate, and that's what you want to make more efficient. But there's some other components I call, value added. The conversations that I'm having one-on-one with a customer, those are critical components that you don't want to rush. You still want to make sure that you're able to meet with your client, with your customers, that you're able to talk with your customers and not feel that there's, yes, I got your items quickly, but I am also rushing off the phone. So we just got to be cognizant that when we're designing these DT solutions, that we're also making sure that the value added is maintained or even enhanced, like further enhanced. As you can imagine, a lot of calls went back and forth between customers and the clients, and rushing them off the phone or have the inability to reach out to them is also going to be a setback. Even though you've done many digital transformation solutions that will positively impact that customer, if that value added's been deferred or lost or decreased, sometimes that does worse.
Yeah, yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, especially around the customer experience. And I find that the customer experience is tantamount to them becoming a customer in the first place. For
Mm,
example, you go to Starbucks and they're just giving me my coffee, but the fact that they call out my name, it creates that personal touch. So just a
right.
little bit more than just here's your coffee. Sean, here's your coffee. So a collection of little tidbit experiences that I take away as a customer make me want to come back. And through a company's digital transformation, um, knowing that the delighters or the things that um, made me a fan or a customer to begin with are still present in the
Mm-hmm.
future. That's what I totally value, and I want to, from a customer perspective, I want to ensure that though they're changing, they haven't forgotten about me or why I became a customer of theirs to begin
Yeah, that's a great example too, because when we reached a certain stage of the COVID, that was still intact. You're right. They still called my name when that information, when that cup was ready. So
with. Hmm.
it's a great point. But yeah, so I'm seeing that as a trend that we just gotta be mindful not to, you know, um, forget that component, right? Like I think you put it beautifully, which is this is the whole reason why I was a customer in the first place. You don't want to lose that. You want to gain by doing some of these DT solutions, but you certainly don't want to lose that aspect. Um, A second is then ultimately is the employees, right? So we're doing a lot of digital transformation for the customers, which makes absolutely sense. We don't want to lose sight and not think of DT solutions for the employees. One, are we doing something that is going to make inadvertently make it worse for the employees? So yes, it's a benefit to the customers, but your own staff, your own employees are getting the brunt of all this DT. So it's not making life easier for them. It's actually making it worse or additional. So we got to be mindful of that. Or the fact that you are now uh, making sure that your customer has easier solutions. Are you also applying easy solutions for your employees? What comes to mind is the number of meetings. Now that we're traveling less back and forth, at least for me, traveling back and forth for work, you're losing that hour and you're getting that hour back into work. Now, I've seen some organizations, they've done it well where, yes, the meetings are still existing. It's not like meetings are going to go to zero, but they're cognizant of now that I'm imposing more meetings on you. Is there a better way that we can manage it? One, certainly everyone can manage meetings better, but I like there's one organization that I was consulting with that they made it agree that if you're not an active participant in this meeting, so you're a passive listener, you just need to be a part of an update and just to maybe add any info if called upon, go for your walk, put your headphones on, go for your walk, be on mute and listen to that call. I thought that was quite amazing, being that now people's meetings or hours has increased by maybe 10, 20%. But the fact that you're able to be passively walking and listen to that meeting, that makes a big difference. That's an example that comes to mind for me. But I like the fact that they were doing DT solutions for customers, but also not forgetting about their own employees.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you bring up a really good point. Several friends of mine, some of them are having to work late hours, give up all their summer vacation time. One of my friends, works in the school board and having to restructure the number of kids that will be available per class and breaking them into smaller classroom sizes
Mm,
over tens of thousands of students for the entire school board. There's a lot of database data manipulation, data configuration behind the scenes, and I see how, in that example and others, I see how hard they're sacrificing their time, especially in today's day and age. Um, the thing about it, I find, is, and I find these people to be the real heroes, especially during this DT that we're going through.
mhm,
And I find what keeps them at the table, keeps them motivated, is that internal culture of, with their local leader. They just have a bond of we're all in this together, a spirit of collaboration and cooperation with each other, that permeates not only from the staff to the leader, but also amongst the people themselves. It's just much easier to go through and sacrifice their time and help the company through a change when your team members are right there,
mhm,
willing to row in the same direction with you.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
And the final thing of that, it's not always immediately apparent, but when me and as an employee, I can see the customer gaining some sort of value from it,
Yeah,
is another motivator as well in
yeah, good
um,
point.
in how the employees benefits.
Good point. Good point. Another Sean that I'm seeing as a trend, and now the examples I give is ones that I've consulted in personally and or been part of. But this, as we walk outside, as we do everything when we're not consulting and not working with clients, I can't turn it off, right? So I'm always being a part of digital transformation, always looking for it. And companies that are doing, they're doing digital transformation, but they're not changing their core, I guess, process or core workflow as far as I can see. Right. Maybe, they're like, ducks where they're all calm above the water, but they're crazy spinning below. But they're doing great delighters that has now reinforced why I will be a customer of theirs always. And I'm giving you an example. So both my boys were graduating. So one is graduating from public school, going to high school, one graduating from high school to going to university. So uh, naturally we had to get suits. So even during this COVID time, I mean, they were doing virtual graduations. We got them suits. We went suit shopping. The delighter for me was um, the the suits that they tried on. I saw them putting those to a side. They weren't hanging them back. And I must have asked because I'm so nosy, or I just can't turn off that DT mindset. I was like, oh, so no, they're not going to take those. They're taking this. Like, oh, no, no, Carl, sir, we're putting those aside because we're putting markers because those ones we're going to clean. So those have been tried on. So we have a process now that any suit that's been tried on by a customer, we put those aside. We don't put them back out to the front. We get them professionally cleaned, and then we bring them back in. And I just thought that was absolutely amazing. Now, I'm going to say I think that's digital transformation because it wasn't automated yet. I'm sure they weren't using the RFID tag and changing the status like some other companies are trying to do right now, but they certainly distinguish themselves to me because they already have a process. They made it so that they adjusted slightly so it made me comfortable, made me feel safe, and it wasn't added work for the employee because it's already an existing process, which is to put things aside and have them clean. They already have a cleaning process. They already mark jackets to get them clean. In this case, they've added this condition, and I saw it. So now I'm also realizing that the suits that my sons tried on were already cleaned. So
Mm.
they have me as a customer for life. I'm certain that I would love to work with them actually, but I'm certain they're going to automate that process now. You maybe put some RFIDs or some sort of asset tags that can distinguish the status of one item compared to another. But that's an example of I'm not part of this company. I wasn't working with them, but I saw it from my own eyes how they considered the customer and they also considered the employee when they did this absolute change. So I think that's what I'm seeing as trends, and I love it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I can see that there's like a double winner there. Not only are they protecting you, and ensuring that everyone's having a clean suit, but also um, is almost a degree of care that they've put into it. It's a very special occasion with the kids graduating,
Mm,
and going with daddy to get a new suit, and then realizing that the suit is now just for you. It's going to be professionally cleaned. It's just yours. And at a time where we have to be super clean, they're physically demonstrating to you, no, we've got your back. Let me mark it so it goes and gets professionally cleaned. Um,
mhm.
yeah, I almost want to go to this suit company too, knowing.
You looking for a suit now?
Yeah. Now in the
Yeah.
market. So yeah, no, those are incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Um,
But right. See how I explained that and you're excited about that company and
mm,
that's DT at its best, right? I just think that's a phenomenon.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Any things you see on your end or sorry, go ahead. I cut you
um
off.
yeah, just further to what you're saying, I think that continuous improvement definitely plays heavy. Um, Digital transformation, from my experience and helping people through it, it begets other digital transformation, right?
Mm,
So,
mm. Well
for
said.
example, I just finished a process automation for a client, and where something used to take about 4 months to do, and it's now down to 3 days, and the rough end result is,
4 months to 3 days. That's amazing.
yeah, significant time savings, and so it gives them a pocket, roughly give or take, it rolling to about 20 hours each per month of all of these people. Time that they didn't have before. And 20 hours, over the course of a month, you could water that through and say, y- like it's not a big deal. But,
Mhm.
if you harness that 20 hours now that you have per month and you didn't have before, what could you do differently?
Right.
And that has inspired them to come back to me and say, now we'd like to take this concept, this automation we've done, and apply it to different areas. We want to now connect our filing system together so that we can remove rekeying data from one platform to another.
Mm,
So, based on just one transformation it's begetting additional ideas, and they have both the creative time to think about it and the impact of having a 20 hours back in my hand now per month have cause them to rethink things, and it's creating that spiral effect where we're like, oh, we can automate this, we can automate that, have
Mhm.
and just continue to reap additional time, additional cost for the same quality of service. So yeah, my big takeaway these days is digital transformation begets digital
Yeah,
transformation.
I really like that. I really like that. I like that phrase. Yeah, so it's interesting times. I mean, again, there is a struggle. I'm not trying to take away some of the things that are happening around us, which is, impactful in a negative way. But I'm starting to see some positive trends that I just wanted to talk about and
Mm-hmm.
bounce those thoughts from with you and see if you're seeing similar and
Oh yeah.
wondering maybe if there's more. There's definitely more out there. This is just what I'm seeing from what I experienced.
Hmm. Yeah, well, we definitely, we'll definitely open it up to the floor, and
Okay.
definitely encourage other thoughts and feedbacks and opinions. What you've learned from either conducting or living through digital transformation in today's
Hmm.
environment. All right, cool. So other than that, I hope those suits fit nice and tight.
Yeah, the
And
pictures came out well, man. They did well.
awesome.
Yeah, even that was innovative. I just how the schools handled their graduation. I thought it was amazing, absolutely amazing.
Right
Yeah,
on, brother.
yeah, man.
Cool. Well, good
Okay, man.
catching up, and we'll catch you on the flip side. We'll
Okay,
chat
man. I'll
again
talk to you
soon.
soon. All right, man.
Cheers.
Talk to you.